I see you came back, dust bunnies, to take another peek. People like to believe the worst things happen fast. A scream, a snap. But that's not how it usually works. Most of the time, it starts quiet, with a choice that feels reasonable, necessary. A man tells himself he's earned a little rest, that there's still time, that walking away is always an option. And maybe he can. Right up until the moment something notices him back. Marks don't appear to warn you. They appear to remind you that an agreement was made. And this one belonged to a man named Evan Mercer. Now watch closely for the mark.
Evan isn't unemployed. He's between contracts. That distinction matters to him. His last job paid well, better than most, enough that he let himself rest longer than usual and told himself the downtime was earned. For a while, it felt like freedom. Late mornings, no alarms, no job site noise rattling his skull. He fixed small things around the apartment, took his time with meals, let his body heal in the shallow ways it always did. But money doesn't stretch forever. The numbers in his account started to thin out, slowly at first, then all at once. He hadn't hit the panic button yet, but the floor was visible now. A few more weeks, maybe less. He needed another contract before pride turned into desperation. Evan rolled the dice and put his bid in and lost. Over and over again, he kept rolling snake eyes, losing contract after contract until his bank account started losing too. Desperation grew, but pride kept him from saying, "Welcome to McDonald's," as his next profession. Cup of coffee in hand and determination on his face, Evan was up late one night scouring the internet for work when a sudden ding broke the silence. A pop-up appeared on his screen. Contractor needed, 1 slot available, earn top dollar, apply now. Evan was about to dismiss it, but being broke and desperate made him take a second look. Evan was skeptical of the job at first. Not afraid, just wary. But eventually he accepted it because it didn't ask much of him. 6 months. An isolated site. Hands-on work. His kind of job. The listing was thin on details and generous with pay. Another plus. Maintenance oversight for a decommissioned research facility hours from the nearest town. Live on site, weekly check-ins, keep the place stable. That was it. Evan signed the contract at his kitchen table and told himself it was temporary. The facility sat low in a bowl of stone and scrub, a cluster of concrete buildings half sunk into the earth. Not abandoned, paused, like something waiting to be resumed. Inside, the air was cool and dry, too clean for a place that hadn't seen people in years. Evan moved in, unpacked only what he needed, and started work the same day. Routine came easily. Panels replaced, bolts tightened, filters cleared. Real work, the kind that made sense. He liked that his hands were always busy, that the days had weight and shape again. Every Friday, he checked in.
This is Corridor Turnpike, Charlie. Everything's normal.
Roger.
On the 87th day, Evan scraped his forearm on an exposed edge while working a panel.
Damn it!
Nothing serious. He wrapped it and headed for the infirmary. Evan still was getting acclimated to the facility, so navigation was flimsy. The place hadn't settled into his bones yet, and somewhere along the way, he took a wrong turn. The map he had didn't match this section. It felt older here. Wrong. The corridor sagged with decay. Green sludge oozed down the walls, pooling along the floor, clinging to seams and corners like it had chosen them, like it knew where to wait. The signage was outdated, half ripped from the concrete, exposed wiring snaking along the ceiling as lights flickered and struggled to stay alive. The walls were war-torn, paint flaking away where identification markers once were, leaving bare concrete scarred and gouged beneath, as if something had tried to erase itself and failed. The room he stepped into wasn't an infirmary. It was vast, circular, carved from concrete like a vault meant to conduct experiments where the public would never see. Hanging at the center of the room was a massive industrial robotic arm, joints thick and armored, scarred with use, relaxed, but not dead. Metal groaned overhead. The mechanical arm came to life. Evan looked up. He had never seen a machine like it before. Against his better judgment, curiosity pulled him closer. Before he could react, the joints engaged and locked with controlled precision.
Error!
The arm articulated inward, wrapping around his injured forearm and immobilizing it completely. He pried at the metal, straining with everything he had. The grip did not give. It tightened.
Let go.
Evan screamed. Pain flared as a fine mist sprayed across the bandage, soaking into the fabric. Just as suddenly, the pressure vanished. The arm released him and retracted, leaving Evan alone, breathing hard, staring at his marked arm. The mark was made, and it came to collect.
Warning, evacuation in progress. Warning, evacuation in progress. Warning, evacuation in progress. Warning, evacuation in progress.
The green substance Evan had seen throughout the facility began to gather. It wasn't flowing randomly. It was converging, dragging itself together in wet, deliberate pulls, slime thickening, layers folding into themselves, mass growing fast. It formed. Evan instinctively raised his hands. Easy now, big fella. Then ran. It surged forward, tendrils slamming across concrete.
Attention.
He made it to the pressurized security door just as the blob slammed into the threshold. It recoiled. Not from the door, from something else. And then Evan noticed something. The creature wasn't watching him. Slowly, carefully, he lowered his arm. The blob settled. His gaze dropped to the bandage. A sick realization hit him all at once. It's not after me. Evan had a plan and took off. Behind him, it became enraged with fury, determined to fulfill the agreement. Evan knew he had to remove the bandage for his plan to work. It was the only way to buy himself time. A distant bang gave him the cue. It knew Evan was trying to escape. And it would not let that happen.
Warning, the self-destruct system has been activated. Warning, the self-destruct system has been activated. Warning, the self-destruct system has been activated.
Inside, the air was cool and dry. Too clean for a place that hadn't seen people in years. Evan moved in. He unpacked only what he needed. Routine came easily. Panels replaced, bolts tightened, filters cleared. Every Friday, he checked in.
This is Corridor Turnpike Charlie. Everything's normal.
Roger.
Seems like Evan's going to be working a double shift. Don't you just love happy endings? Especially when we can get along together. Until next time, don't clock in.